There we go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is a beautiful May 17th. We are now live streaming on YouTube. So hello out there in YouTube land. Hello, everybody who's joining us on Zoom. Happy birthday to Jill. Michael.
And I think that's it. Did I just freeze? Is that me? Jason froze. All right. Well, welcome, everybody. I'll continue onward. I'm sitting here thinking I froze. Thanks for joining us today for this edition of the Morning Coffee Review. Today, we'll be talking about, well, once Jason unfreezes, I'll let him do his little keynote that he really wanted to talk about if he comes back here in a couple of seconds. But today we were going to go through and talk about some of the new features that was released. We are actually going to have to restart. Be right back. Jason is almost back. You're a little fuzzy. I thought it was really me. Weird. So everyone sat here and looked at me as I thought it was me.
I thought it was you too, but yeah.
Traditionally, it was, right? I think I installed the new coaxial line, so I'm A, proud of myself. B, I think that fixed my internet. But I'll let you...
I mean, hearing the word coaxial in 2022 is really weird. So there was that.
We don't have fiber out here. So I'll let you go back to kicking it off because...
Yeah. So about that, we know some stuff. Oh, here comes the tease that you love so much. Talking about the new version of Revu coming out in July, right? We've got details and we want to share them with you, right?
We do, but we can't.
Why? Are we going to get in trouble? We're going to get in trouble. So yes. Actually, we were going to do a little teaser and say some things. And then Bluebeam was like, hey, wait a minute. And we also are going to invite some folks from Bluebeam to come join us. So we're going to make a bigger deal of the reveal. Hey, look, I had a rhyme. We're going to be doing some fun stuff with that coming up real soon. But again, the message is always make sure you're on Revu 20 with active maintenance before July.
Yes.
Sooner the better. If you need help with this, reach out. If you want to know why to go to Revu 20 and features and stuff, type it in the chat. We're happy to talk about that. So with that said, we have to come up with a new topic.
We do. And unfortunately, we aren't able to give you some news, but don't be afraid because soon it'll be coming down the pipeline for us to talk about. You can look in probably early June. We'll be sending out a similar topic like this where we are able to talk about it. And then we'll follow it up with folks from Bluebeam to jump in and talk all things Revu 21 and kind of where they're going with their new SaaS model. SaaS company model. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. We'll get sassy.
Yes.
See, there's so many puns. So, was that a leak? That was a leak. Oops. We won't repeat that.
No, it's not.
No, that was an attitude. SaaS.
They're going to a SaaS-based company. Yep. Thanks, David.
Yeah. Totally just a thing.
Yep.
So with that, we decided to take a look at the comments, right? So at the end of these sessions on Zoom, you get a little survey. And some of you have typed in like, I really wish we'd talk about this or talk about that. And we took a quick glance at them. And that's what we're going to do instead today. So go back, look at some of these questions. Some of these are 5 minutes. Some of these are 10 minutes. Maybe you have other things that you are curious about with Revu. Literally, no topic is off the table except for Revu 21. I mean, super, mega, ultra. So
what happens if you purchase a license that haven't been installed?
Ooh.
I'll ask that so YouTube can see it too. What happens if you purchase a license that hasn't been installed and Revu 21 is coming out? Is that your question around this, David?
So the maintenance isn't active?
Maintenance isn't active. So we strongly suggest here at ATG that you be on the current version of Revu. Well, this is something we can talk about. End of life is happening, right? So that was announced end of sale March 23rd, 2022. What am I going back? For all versions 2019 and below. So if you are on an older license of Revu, you paid for it, you do own it. Things will be going away though, come March 21st, 2023. What's going to happen is they will no longer support the licenses. They will no longer issue any patches, and they will no longer have access to Studio. So if Studio is a huge portion in Revu that you use, it's kind of become a company standard on you're collaborating on PDFs, because if we all understand that that's really the only solution allows for multi-collaboration singularly on a PDF, simultaneously as well, that will go away for your licenses come 2023 in March. So just be aware of that. So we should all be upgrading to Revu 20, but I would like to add that we should be on maintenance for that. You can upgrade your license right now at a set cost. If you want to know the costs, I have them written down. You can email us. We can also get with you. We recommend you upgrade, and there's no actually cross-grade upgrade difference. So if you ever wanted to go from standards to extreme right now, you can. You just pay the upgrade cost of extreme, or you pay the upgrade cost of standard, or CAD if you wanted that. So now's the best time to go through and do that. And then Jason and I, and we here at ATG, do recommend that you get on active maintenance so that this transition into Revu 21 is seamless and easy. What other kind of word would you use as a buzzword, Jason?
I'm gonna reuse the Bluebeam word that they told us, cost neutral.
Okay.
So David, you have a license that you've purchased, it's paid for, it's just not installed, right? Well, it's a perpetual license. You own that. You don't have to install it, but you're obviously not using it and getting your value. So when this transition comes later this year, you can certainly take your perpetual license and trade that towards something else, or you can just throw it away, which nobody wants to do, right? So yeah, certainly reach out to me, reach out to Michael, reach out to Jolie. We've got folks here at ATG happy to help you with these decisions and sort of give you the heads up. Maybe not on a MCR yet, but yeah, we're going to have a big thing about it, and we'll have Bluebeam on here. We can put them on the spot, and they'll help us and help you navigate this transition.
Yeah, because we want everyone from the community to know what's going to be happening. We want them to also be informed. And hey, what better way to ask Bluebeam, where are they going? What is their roadmap for the company Bluebeam, right? Most folks, even currently today, when I get on a call with them, they're like, yeah, we have Bluebeam. Just remember, Bluebeam's a company. They are releasing other software solutions. Revu is just one of those solutions. So just be hyper aware of Bluebeam as a company, just like we are with most folks probably in here know who Autodesk is, right? Mm-hmm. So their solutions as well.
Yeah, I wonder if they have to do fireball shots whenever they say Adobe over at Bluebeam. This is a good question.
We could send them a care package prior, right? And then when they say it, which they probably wouldn't, but
yeah. They got California, they got rules and stuff. Adobe could be a 4-letter word there, or they've got it like on dartboards everywhere across the office. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe we'll get to visit someday. All right, so if you have any questions about that, fire away. Otherwise, we're going to just jump into the software and just show some things, and if you've got questions, type them in. We're literally, nothing's off limits. If it's something you're curious about, you can always say, hey, don't say who asked this, and then ask the question.
And be aware, next time we announce that we are going to announce this is something we haven't done, where we kind of transitioned out of what we're going to be talking about. And we apologize, right, for not going in depth on what's going to be happening. But we had to pump the brakes internally. So we will definitely, once we can release that break and go full send into Revu 21, we will.
Oh, I like that. Going full send. I like that.
Yes.
Scott, Adobe is known as the red icon. Ooh, that's good.
It was not a clickbait. We promise. We are not clickbait people. We want everyone to have things for the community when we know. We just unfortunately had to pump the brakes. We are a platinum partner. We do have to abide by some rules, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Even though Jason doesn't like to sometimes.
When will Revu support Revit 2023? That's a good question. I did install Revit 2023, but I haven't reinstalled Revu on top of that.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about this, Michael. There's an order to Autodesk and Bluebeam Revu when you install them, how those plugins work. Can you go into more detail about that?
Yeah, that's happened a couple of times where I've installed a new version of Revit and the add-ins aren't there. Unfortunately, the solution for that is uninstalling Revu and reinstalling it. Before you do that, I do highly recommend you export out your profiles and your tool sets so you don't lose them. I had a client ask me the other day, hey, am I going to lose all of my stuff going from 18 to 20? You will not, as long as you run this. So if you do go to uninstall so you can see your add-ins, and I'm pretty sure Revit 23 is still capabilities for plugins. I'll look it up right now. And if your plugins don't work, right, you go in and try to use the plugins because they may populate open in your Revit environment. If you don't have CAD or Extreme, they're not going to work for 3D PDFs or anything like that. So just be aware as you go through and do that. While you show that export, I'm going to look at this add-in.
Yeah, so I'm looking at my preferences. So I went to the Review menu in the top left corner and went to Preferences. And then here we go to, on the admin selection on the left side, down at the bottom, there's an option here to back up. So I tried to do this before even updating Revu. So when Revu 20.2.70 came out, hop in, hit backup, then update it. We saw my internet freeze this morning. Maybe something else is going wrong during the install process. It's always good to have this stuff. So back it up, it creates a zip file. And I've already created that file. I'm going to go explore what's in that in just a second. And then also, this is all of your settings backed up. And then if you export down here, this is going to take your Revu preferences and turn that into an XML file. So your preferences are what's saying, what's your username. Sometimes I like to do Jason Riley ATG. So if I'm collaborating with somebody, they know where I'm from, right? Makes that a little easier. And then of course I like my snap color to be red. And
Revu does not plug into 2023. So if you look at this chart that I just posted to everybody, it is not able to plug in yet. And it seems like if you look at the precedents they set for all their other licenses, it seems like, oh, you just clicked the link.
Yeah. I should have brought this up in the review web tab. Fine, let's just do it this way. I always forget that one.
Let me monitor the questions here.
All right, web tab inside of review. Bonus tip if you didn't know that existed. So you can come in here, review 20, Windows, Outlook, AutoCAD. It doesn't say 2023, but I think it might work.
George, you'll notice that Autodesk and Bluebeam don't play well together sometimes. So to answer your question where they said Autodesk said to uninstall Bluebeam's plugin, if you ever have an issue where something's crashing because another solution, feel free to reach out to our support. We get back to you in around 15 minutes.
Actually, our average response time now is 9.3 minutes, and our satisfaction rating is 99.9. So we've had some updates to our support team. Give us a try. As a Bluebeam Platinum partner and an Autodesk Platinum partner, we see a lot of those conflicts and we see a lot of those things. So reach on out. I'm curious about the Civil 3D crash, though.
Can we just all go on?
I'm also curious because sometimes for the Autodesk users, when it crashes, it will give you an option to send an error report. And sometimes it will spin and tell you, thank you, your SOL. And sometimes it will say, hey, this was actually fixed with this hot fix, or we have a known solution. And it's funny that yours says to uninstall Bluebeam. So Bravo, Autodesk. I mean, I get it. But this hasn't been updated for 2023. I'm pretty sure it works though.
Yeah, Terry, you can check your add-ins to see if it works. But some folks, it doesn't pick up and register that Revu is able to be installed in Revit 2023. So you don't always have to do the uninstall method, which I was talking about. It's for those folks that unfortunately Revit doesn't see the add-in, and you have to go through and reinstall the package. Is anyone else having an issue where a custom tool that is grouped together randomly ungroups itself?
Ooh, you want to queue up one for that? Because I don't have anything handy. What I do have on my screen is that backup file. So I just did that through my preferences and made this zip file. So here's my appliance symbols. Here's my ATG symbol. All of my line types that I've created, all my tool sets are all here. You know, everything is set up nicely. So it's a good way to make sure that you have what you need. These can, of course, be extracted and shared. So like, here's all of my Revu goodies hiding in one little zip file. So always good to hit that button.
You can just group some markups together and we can just show, but that would be, I haven't seen that happen before. So if you do have an issue where those are ungrouping, maybe check out what the markup is. Can an admin type something in and force a person's computer to back up before installing an update?
Ooh, that's a Kyle Davis question. I'm not positive.
Yeah, because you'd have to grab the source files for the locations of what those are and force it to publish out a BTX or BPX file. Mm-hmm. Not that I know of. We can definitely ping Kyle. I'm not aware of that ability to force backups for those file types.
Yeah, interesting. And James, what's the best resource to download toolset libraries? I'm going to put this in the chat. There is the custom ones that come from Revu. There are other firms that charge. So there are some other resellers and partners out there who have tool sets that you can download for a fee. Over at Chapter 2, yep. Troy has given out some free tools a couple of weeks ago. I haven't downloaded them, but you know, it's still always cool to get free stuff. So go check out Chapter 2. Did I really just say that? No, of course I said that.
Of course you said that. All about the community.
Yeah, all about the community. And you know, put that into, I put this link in the chat. So there we go. They're limited, but they're better than nothing, right? I really like the interior space design. We did do a whole episode about these. Brian Haley, it's good to see you, my friend. Do we have any recommendations to distribute profiles to all users? Yes, we do. We have a couple ways to do this.
Yes, we do. Are you going to show?
I'll let you show.
So it just depends. So Brian, it depends on how you're going to go through and use is your IT department going to go through and run some type of MSI package, right? And deploy it to everybody through there. That's going to be your question A. And that's going to come down to how you create the MSI package to be deployed. Let me bring this over here. But before I do, let me go to here. I don't want you guys, I'm trying to not show you my desktop because I'm doing a little BIM management and it's a little overwhelming. So I know I get I get a lot of things from you guys sometimes when I show that. So give me a second here.
I'm not one to talk this week. So,
well, I mean, so I could show you a little glimpse, but there's my desktop. Okay, going back to here. Okay. If you're going to go and create some type of new MSI package to deploy out profiles and other solutions, otherwise, I mean, I really think, who was that, Doug, or was it David, or was it Ed? One of those three folks have it open up as a PDF. I really think that's probably the best way. As I've been thinking about this and peeling back the layers of how Revu could be used, if you had this open up to a default PDF, so if you go to preferences and you open up this, and I was even thinking this for tool sets, because, hey, what if you just update that link, right? Yeah. For people to grab it instead of storing it on your network, because you can't lock it down on your network and people can, you know, be mischievous. Not everyone is, but some people can. But you can go to here and have it start open as a PDF. And this PDF can live in a studio project. So you could have it go to that. And then those could have embedded attachments, because we can add attachments to the PDF and attach those .btx files and BPX, or just the BPX, which has all of what you need in it. That's one way. But going back to here, you can download the deployment package and you can create your own configurator for some kind of update. So you can push out these deployment extensions on your own if you wanted to. And I'll let Jason Google the link for the deployment package where you can download all of this stuff. So he can send it to you, or I will in a second. But, okay. And then from here, what you could do is you'll be adding what profiles you want. Of course, if you didn't attach any of those other line style things or hatch patterns, which is just from here. So if you don't do this method where you go review, and then you go to manage profiles and you click on this and you export this with dependencies, that everything won't come with it. It'll just be the UI. Okay. But if you do bring everything out separate, this is where you bring those separate parts with it.
And on that PDF startup thing, Michael made an awesome white paper on digital dashboards. So that would be a perfect way to just pull up the dashboard. And then here's all your company information. Here's your latest company profiles. That's another way to do it if you don't have admin rights.
Yeah, I would agree. Will add-in for Bluebeam to Revit come in if we install an update for review?
So we kind of teased on this one, not teased on this one, but like when you update review, it basically overwrites itself. And if it's already installed as a plugin to Navisworks or Revit or whatever, that update gets pushed through. But if you install review and then you install Revit 2023, Revit 2023 isn't going to find the review part, right? So you kind of have to get your orders right.
Yeah, if you're having an issue where Revit's not displaying it, feel free to reach out to our support. We can help you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sam had a question. Everyone's saying
so I'll read this one to you.
Okay.
Sam made custom tools for his company, and every time they edit them and save, everyone has to re-import the tools to see the changes. Is there a way so they can do an auto update?
There's no auto update. And that's what I was keying to, which is having it open up, because someone asked that same question. And my thought was coming back to, I forget who was again, Doug.
That was Doug.
Or it was Doug. Okay. Doug had his open up to the source PDF. So if you're opening up to a source PDF and people, hey, click the new update, or or becomes known that there's a date, you could put a date there right next to it, when last updated is, right? So as whoever's managing their tool sets can say last update was here. Oh, I'm way past that date. I need to double click it, because all they have to do, if it's the same name, it'll update the one in place. And again, I'll show you how you can do that. You can create your own PDF. You could do this in a dashboard, wherever you want to go. All you have to do is go to your tools. You can attach, and what you can go through and attach is a
the BPX or the BLX or whatever BTX you want to do.
Yeah, the BTX that you want. So if I want my trees in here, I don't like the paperclip thing, because I'm like, I don't know what that is. So what I'll do is I'll select this. I'll go to properties. Well, I could have done it up here too. And I'll change the icon to what the file is so everyone knows. And then from here now, right, maybe you have a date stamp every time that you place this. The date is here so that they know when it was updated, right? Great. And it always opens up to this page that has all of this data and information. And now all I have to do is double click it, and it's going to ask me, hey, do you want to open this? Yes, I do. Great. It already exists. Would you like to overwrite the existing one that's in here? Of course I do, because somebody took the time to update it. So I'm going to overwrite that existing one.
We did something similar with this with our Bluebeam Studio session from New Orleans back in February, where we had the tool set placed onto a studio session. People could click on it and update. Michael, do you have a dashboard that you could show?
Yeah. And And I understand where they're going with this. It has to be direct. You wouldn't want someone to go in there and change something unintentionally, and then it pushes updates to the folks. You could also just do a silent update MSI package to everybody as well for those tool sets. So that's another thing. So if you have an IT department that has some type of MSI deployment for updates, you could just do that in the background. So if you're really looking for something and you have somebody in the IT department that's strong with pushing up updates for all things, you could easily do that. Let's see. What am I doing?
You're looking for a dashboard, and we've got some good questions while you're looking for that. Right.
I'll do the ATG dashboard. Perfect. Or do you want to see a project? It's up to you.
Just do the ATG dashboard.
Yeah, because it's the same
concept.
Yeah. Don't save. Okay, so you could open up to this. Well, actually, let's just do that. But I need to go to Studio, and I think it's this one, unchecked.
Yeah, I always get that confused. Okay, a couple of good questions. One from the birthday girl here. Can the update be rolled back? No, there's no revert. No. So you'd have to just find an older version. So export your old tool set before you make changes, then save it.
I'm so glad this stayed. It's a mess back there, folks.
Oh boy. Oh boy, good questions here. Let's see where to start. So as he's loading this dashboard, I don't want to lose track of that. Key thing here, review 20.2, I think, is where they enabled it for you to stay logged into Studio. If you're on an older version of Review, you might have some hard times because it's gonna ask for whatchamacallit, for you to log in.
Yeah. And that's why it took a second, because it was logging in to get to this dashboard. So you could have it on your network, gain a little speed. But now I'm here, right? So I closed Review, I opened it, and now I'm opening to this view. So now I can go through and look, for things that I want to go and look for, maybe architectural, maybe some data sets, right? I can go into here and grab my data sets from here as well. So this could be where you store your tool sets or something, right? They click to something and it goes into that area, and that's where you're going to go through.
Yeah, Doug, everybody should have a Bluebeam ID already to use Studio, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nod, nod. Yeah, you want that Bluebeam ID. It's a good thing.
We'll let Jason be the Easter bunny today and hand out some eggs and
there we go,
nuggets of things. So if you ask questions, he may or may not answer your questions, Doug.
All right. Yeah, that's a good point there, Patrick. Patrick put a comment. If you add the tool set versus import the tool set, it will pull in the latest tool set off the server when you open Bluebeam, but it really slows down Bluebeam when it opens. Right.
Yep.
Thanks for that. I like it when you guys share your personal experiences too. I mean, we're only a couple of us, so we got people all over the world joining us and sharing their experiences, and that's what makes Morning Coffee Review fun.
Yeah, we like being stumped. We like going down rabbit holes. This is all about you, the community. So asking questions, talking amongst each other. That's what we're here for.
I'm getting caught up on questions here, and we got one from David. So we were, again, rabbit holes a little bit. This is what we do if you're new here. We're easily sidetracked. But there was a question about, if you're really organized and you have 30 toolboxes, do you have to click on each one if you wanted to update them? Is there a way to group those together? And you would do that through a profile.
Yeah, you answered it.
Question about dashboards. Now that you've got a dashboard open, can an action assigned markups be copied to multiple pages?
An action cannot be copied. Well, I mean, you could copy what the action is, but the markup that's associated to the action, you could batch hyperlink as an action. So you could do that. Yeah. But the markup, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. My apologies there. But yes, you can't have a markup that's, let's say, in a tool set that you're going to copy it and the action rolls with it. No.
Good question here from Samuel. Has anyone had an issue with markups being randomly deleted in a Bluebeam project? So a studio project, I'm guessing, or a Bluebeam PDF, Bluebeam review PDF. If it's in a studio project,
I would check revision history.
Check revision history and see manager permissions and take away their rights to delete things. Studio project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely go and check your revision history. So every single PDF here has a revision history of things that have been marked up and changed. So you can see, and you can also go back to an older version and restore back to that original one. So you have some options there.
But what if it's been deleted from the project entirely? Right. So if you remove one of those sheets, is there any history that says, hey, this file used to exist, but now it's gone? I think that's what
can you do that in Prime?
Ooh, it's a fine question. No one deleted anything. I had support restore the older file. That shouldn't happen.
What is it? Studio. There it is.
The good old Prime portal.
Projects. Let's see.
So this is the Prime portal. If you haven't seen this,
it's this one, not that one.
That one? Oh, so you can look at your activity from all time and see what's going on. Okay. Added file.
I don't think I ever delete anything from here. So,
but you can't access that file, can you? So it shows you the file, the countblue.bpx.
No, I can't grab it.
Interesting.
But you can see who deleted it.
This is true. So if no one deleted anything, this would be the truth serum, right? This would be able to say, oh, look, Michael deleted all these things. And then I can go into your security and then take away their permissions.
Yeah, because as you can tell, I have a large base of projects here, and I haven't ever run into that. So
very cool.
But there could be a bug.
Could be. You know, we find these things, and Michael, if you could be so kind to go up to help and make a suggestion or report an issue. If you see things like that are anomalies, utilize those buttons, because Review is listening, or Bluebeam is listening, and you know, sometimes that helps.
Yep, and you can always ask us questions too.
Certainly. All right, so going back to Patrick's comment about if you add the tools versus import tools. So David wanted us to take a look at this real quick. So we're looking at custom tool sets, right? Everybody should be using custom tool sets because redoing stuff all the time is annoying, right?
Oops.
So in here, you have the ability to add and you have the ability to import, right? If you add, it's going to be pulling from a drive location, whether it be a server or studio project. It's going to be looking for a connection to bring in that file, right? Which might sometimes, there's some caching going on, might lead to an auto update when you restart Review because it's pulling in that fresh information.
I would want to test that. Has anyone done that?
I know one of our clients this is how they manage all of their review stuff.
Since it is a path location not directly brought in.
We should, it would be.
We can't test. Well, we could test it on our server. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't, since we work remote full time, our servers are VPNs. We got to make sure that we're connected to the VPN before even opening up Review, and then otherwise it's going to crash because it can't find it. There are some slowdowns.
Yeah, this doesn't even bring you into projects, unfortunately.
You can get to projects from there, can't you?
It didn't bring it open.
Oh boy, I love this question, Corey. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to put Michael on the spot. So you got any tips for improving the management of studio projects? Because you got a long list of folders there, Michael.
Sure do. You can filter. I mean, it's not that long a list for me to navigate through, but you can go to what projects you've created that can be ordered, attended by dates, name, ID. So you have options to go through and filter.
Right. You can't create the categories like you can with your opening, your file open access panel. But there's ways that you can filter that.
Yeah. Or, subfolders. Are we asking about within the project?
Can you do sometimes projects have multiple projects, right? So if we're working on a subdivision, maybe there's a phase 1 and a phase 2. Maybe we want all of these to be together. You can create folders underneath them.
Yeah, you can have folders inside of these projects that have subfolders and folders inside of them as well.
But you can't have subfolders on the projects list. Melissa, that is a fantastic question that we've never answered here. And now's the time to do it.
I think I've answered it in a training. I haven't answered it here.
I don't remember. I mean, we've been doing this for over a year now, every Tuesday. So if we forget, I actually forgot what we did last week. No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes we forget.
I forgot what we were going to do today. I'm just kidding. So as we go to here, yes, in order to archive, the best recommendation is to going to the top structure of the studio project folder itself. And from here, you can right click and you can go through and download a copy. This will actually create a copy of the entire. I think it's because I dragged it first. It'll let you create a copy of the entire project.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I have everything on my desktop, but you can select the folder that you want it to go to. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done this one. Probably should have done one that has not a lot in it, but it will.
Take a look at this. It's grabbing the tool sets. It's grabbing the Revit models. It's grabbing everything that was a part of that project. And now it's removed. Well, it's not removed. It's copied from studio projects. Then follow whatever protocols you have at your firm.
And it's copying them in their folder structures too. So we'll see that. If I go to my desktop here.
You weren't kidding there, bud.
Yeah, I think I froze. There we go.
Oh, you weren't done? Oh,
nope, I was not done. We will not talk about this.
OCD warning.
So from here, you have demo share, and then see it starts building these all out.
Very cool. So hopefully that answers your question, Melissa. All right.
I told you I shouldn't have done this one. I have a lot of content in here that I just throw in here because it's free storage, everyone.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to show too. So yesterday I was on a call with a client and we were talking about, do we use Dropbox or Google Drive or Autodesk Drive or, what do we use for file share? And I said, Revu Studio project is amazing because there's no limit to file size. It technically says there's no limit to file type, but you can't do EXEs unless you zip them up and hide them.
You can't do Workshare enabled Revit model either, but you can standalone model. So if you were wanting to work on a Revit model in the cloud singularly, you could do that in studio projects.
That's correct. So all types of good stuff going on here. But while you're still on here, could you share a link? So if you wanted to share, let's say that furniture.rfa, whatever the heck that is, how do you send a link to somebody?
Yeah, so if you are the admin or if you're part of a project and they've given you access rights to share, because that is part of it, under this drawbar here, you have the ability to allow to share links with some folks. But what you can do is you can right click, you can give a shareable link You can decide for it to expire at a certain amount of time, 24 hours, or until the project can require a password. And then you copy the link and close. It's going to go to Google. And then I could paste this here. Oh, come on.
You almost had it.
Yeah, there we go.
Keep in mind, it is earlier for Michael than it is for the rest of us. So,
except for Doug.
Right.
And then they can download this like a typical download. They just click download. And this, well, I like this way more. It shows you where you want to go.
They don't need a license, a review. They don't need a studio account. They can just click on it and download it. So it works really, really well. And yes, Terry, this works for AutoCAD files. It works for Word documents. It works for spreadsheets. It works for everything. Only in a studio project. If you're in a studio session, then we're in PDF land only.
Yep.
Right? This even works. Bluebeam Studio projects will work with BIM 360 and the other Autodesk Cloud components as well. It's a fantastic utility. And we've had an episode where we talked about, working off of Revit models here. Obviously there's some tricks to it. Make sure that you have Revit open or Civil 3D open first.
Yeah, and Review open.
And Review.
Revit's really important because you have to have the right edition, because when you open it from Review, it doesn't ping to the right version. And we all know Revit's version specific.
Exactly. Okay. Ooh, good question, John. Give me a second to read all this. Okay, here we go. Ready for this one? Ooh, and I see that we've got Josh on the line here as well. And if we don't know the answer now, we've got someone else we can bug. So keep your ears on, bud. All right. I understand that there isn't a limit on cloud storage capacity. True. My team has been uploading field collected 3D laser scans to hopefully archive in perpetuity. Okay. Leica or Faro? What kind of scanner? I'm curious. This has worked perfectly since our local machines can't contain the 1.2 gigabytes of files. Your laser scans should be way bigger than that. Will we hear more about whether unlimited storage will remain for version 20? I'm guessing you mean review 20 super ultra mega, whatever's coming out in July.
Hey, I just want to take note that I guessed it right. But I do wish it was called super mega.
Thank you for super mega would just totally brighten my day, but is it too late, Josh? Can we talk to marketing? I think we've got something here. I believe the storage will continue, but let's change the subject. I'm going to get in trouble.
So we don't know what review 21 is going to look like for studio, but review 20 is still active. So if you're going to be on review 20, you still have access to studio projects and studio sessions.
Right. And the 1.21 gigahops, see, there we go, Jill. The local brewery does a 1.21 gigahops instead of gigawatts from Back to the Future. I got that too.
So to answer your question directly, John, yes, they will remain on review 20. And that's the original question you had.
Faro S70. Cool. We're a Leica dealer here, so I'm always curious if somebody's using Leica laser scanning, and if they've got success stories, we want to hear them because they are incredible machines.
So yeah, you can store unlimited file sizes. Yeah, the executable is the only one I've encountered in a project that does not work. I'm trying to think of what the other one was. Well, Workshare enabled doesn't work with Revit, of course. But you can store check in, check out here. That's how they manage file locking in Studio. Projects is a check in, check out basis. Now, sessions, which is what we were talking about at the beginning, and we talked about that in terms of end of life, right? So if you're using an older version of review, it is recommended to get to review 20. because come 2023 in March, you will no longer have access to studio sessions for your license of review 19 and below. So it's review 2019 and below. They got rid of the annual year lock by release date after 20, because we are in 2022 and review 21 is coming out in July. So yeah, we can go and talk about these though in studio session, right? That live collaboration. I have my lovely little iPad here. Well, I'm pretty sure Jason is a part of this. So if he wanted to, really, he could wake up and decide to join this too.
Find it. Let me find it.
But my iPad storage is full. Haha, you never see that in a studio project, but you see it on an iPad. Let me go through into here and log in though. Remind me later.
I got a backpack and there's a lot of pockets, so it took me a while to find my iPad.
So we did a showdown, by the way, because what's better, iPad or Surface Pro? What is better?
Depends. It really depends. And soon it's not going to depend as much. How's that?
I like that. So from here, if I go into my site plan, so you'll see Joe, he's this iPad guy here, because Jason is still sleeping in his backpack.
Right here.
Okay.
Getting there.
Surface all the way. We did a cost comparison. So Jason and I don't just break down the software solution itself, but also the hardware you're going to be using. So we don't just talk about what's different between both of them. What are you paying cost-wise for those and what you gain out of them? But what I can do is I can follow Joe as he's out in the field. So as he's moving this, and we've all used an iPad, hopefully at some point, as he's moving this, pinching it in and out, he's able to see the PDF and follow exactly what I'm doing. Well, you are all able to do that. I'm going to go to door schedule instead. And what I can go through here and do is, even though he's switched on to his door schedule, I can go through, and again, we talked about that live collaboration. So even though I'm watching on my desktop, I'm able to go in here and grab something here. We'll take a picture of my puppy.
Demo session.
Can be live right here, right now. So this could be a field walkthrough as well.
Yeah, and we did this for our OTC one back in February. That worked pretty well.
Yep.
The Surface, I mean, I love the form factor. I mean, the fact that it's Windows based is amazing, but the Surface Go is going to be probably too small. The Surface X won't work because it has to be downloaded from the App Store, which Revu is not available. You have to get the actual Surface Pro, and you want something with horsepower. So you're spending over $1,000 on a Surface Pro that can run Bluebeam Revu properly, and then you still got to buy the Windows license, which is $300-400 versus a used iPad or a new iPad for $500 and a $10 license on the App Store.
They just came out with a new one that was like $370 or something that had the new camera with it too. So we also talked about the camera capabilities, right? Because if I'm going out and making field issue reports and I want to document things, I'm going to want to have something that wasn't like, this is the old Mini and it's kind of a little fuzzy and blurry, right? So that is something to note as well.
Yeah. And we talked about end of life. iPad is not going away anywhere, right? So even though that iPad version is old looking, in the end of life frequently asked questions on the Bluebeam website, they specifically said that there's nothing going on with iPad. So it's still a viable platform. And as other folks have commented on today's session, it works really well for field workflows and being mobile.
Yep. I would concur. I'm pro iPad. Jason used to be pro Surface. And then I brought him into the light.
Yeah. And I even, instead of buying a new Surface Pro to replace my home computer, I bought a MacBook Pro, and I have no regrets at all.
So we still have some time, 10 minutes. Feel free to ask us any questions. Was there something you were working in review, something you wanted to know how to do, right? We're all here for you, the community. Just take note that we weren't trying to be clickbait this time around. We put on hold what we were going to talk about today. And we will come here in the future, release probably the same name of what this was going to be or something creative that Jason and I come up with. DJ CJ will take it and give it all to you. And it will not be clickbaity. It will be intentional, and it will be here to talk to you all about this. So
it's a big deal, right? And we want to make sure that we can enable you to make the proper decisions for yourself and your organization, as well as, prepare you for success. It doesn't matter if it's a $10 program or a $10,000 program. Not knowing how to use it is a problem, right? And you could be stumbling through workflows that you don't have to stumble through. And that's where we want to be able to, you can lean on us as your partner. If it's not Michael or myself, it's Kyle in our support, or Troy in our support, or Jolie in our CSR department. We've got folks here that will make the best, help you, guide you on the best decision. So with that said, there's a great question here. And then I think we've got time to answer this when it comes to rumors of Bluebeam. There we go again. Have you heard any rumors of Bluebeam enhancing the reports so the users have a little bit more freedom to create custom reports, size of comment section, etc.? I haven't heard any rumors. And even the rumors I know that I know, there's nothing in there. But this can be done a little bit through your templates. Right, Michael?
What is he talking about? Well, who said this question?
It's in the Q&A. So we talked about creating templates for your reports. So either your markup summary, you can choose a template there so it shows up on your company letterhead, and maybe you've got areas for different things, and you can do some stuff with that, or use some forms.
Are we talking about the way the markups list shows this data here, or we're talking about exporting them?
I'm guessing exporting.
Because these can be changed to defaults, right, by the profile. Now, if we're talking about specific exports, right, we can go through, and these can be highly customizable and set up with company standards for what's going to be printed out. So there are those options.
I think if you go to the export PDF summary, I think we've figured this out here. Down there at the bottom, there's percentage of padding. And that might be what you're talking about. That will give you a little bit more space in between each one of those markups that exist on your report, right? So if you increase that, it will give you more room for comment sections, which then you could then, if you're using Extreme, put in a form, make your life a little easier.
I do wish we could adjust the column widths in the PDF summary. I wonder if we all go in and say this.
Right. That's a question for Josh.
But be aware, Bluebeam does listen to the community, right? So a lot of the things that we ask for do come out. So make suggestions if there's enough of them, right? There's enough drive for it, probably will be released at some point.
Right. It doesn't fall on deaf ears.
And
that's always great.
Melissa said, can you expand on what to do after you've archived a copy of the files? Right-clicking on the list gives remove from list. So yeah, if you want to, after you've archived, right, you went and downloaded everything like I did, or you hit cancel like I did because there's too many in there, you can go and delete it. It does stay on Bluebeam's storage. I think, I'm not going to tell you, I don't know the exact time, but I'm not going to
180
guess.
days.
That's for sessions.
Okay.
Yeah, projects, I can go and look at that.
You could have used the Bluebeam web tab again. You can use Leverage Studio Prime for a lot of that too. If you are a heavy user of studio projects or studio sessions, definitely take a look at Prime, because it does give you the insight to manage things without
I
even being in
just-
review.
Yeah, I should have just guessed it. 120 days. I shouldn't have guessed it. I should have said I remembered what it was, because I knew that's what it was.
Right. Only the admin can recover it. So Studio Prime would allow you to switch admins if that person's no longer with you. Otherwise, you might have to contact Revu or Bluebeam and see if they can do it.
Or us, and we can contact them on your behalf. Yes, you can, Samuel, you can store a .rvt file in here. I have one. Just remember, you just dump it into a project. Just remember what version of Revit it's in, because projects doesn't open the correct version. It just opens your last used version of Revit. So open the version it's supposed to be working in, and then you can check it out and hit open, and then it will open up in the correct version, right? And then you can just work on it like you natively would. You hit save like you natively would, and it's going to ping to here, not for work shared enabled again.
Right. So if you wanted to actually open a Revit model in Bluebeam and actually use Bluebeam to view a Revit model, you'd need to do a 3D PDF. It won't actually work as an Autodesk viewer. But it'd be kind of cool if it did sometimes.
Yeah, you can create a 3D PDF if you have CAD or Extreme and it plugs into Revit. You are able to go through and create what is called a 3D PDF. We just did a session on this not too long ago, but you are able to create something that looks like this.
You can do sections. You can do all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah.
I showed a 3D PDF of a human heart. It was cool.
I forgot about that. I did talk to my wife about that, and she said, no, I forgot what she said. Dang, never mind. There was something that had been repaired on that heart, and she told me.
Yeah, there was like a little stint in there, and that's it was pretty cool. All right, we're getting close to wrapping up time. Ooh, good question here, Sean. Let's answer this.
This right here is a .pdf extension. It's just created from Revit. It can be sent to anybody. Now, some softwares aren't as amazing as Revu is, so they won't be able to view the 3D PDF. But you can suggest to download a trial to them, or the free version, which is Bluebeam's Reviews Reader. It's called View. You can still view the PDF.
And 3D PDFs do not work in a session, so you can't really share that way.
Yeah.
Right?
And they don't work. 3D PDFs on mobile devices don't work either.
Correct. But it would work in a studio project if that person has, Review.
Yeah.
The red icon software, I don't know what it can do. I don't have it. What is the file size limit for 3D PDFs? I haven't seen one.
Yep.
What is Bluebeam Prime? Bluebeam Prime is a internet portal where you can manage your entire organization's studio session or studio project use. So if you need to change owners
and it's called Studio Prime, just so we're all aware.
Yeah, not Bluebeam Prime, Studio Prime. Another Bluebeam product.
Yep.
It's really, really cool. Some people put things where maybe they shouldn't be, and you can actually go and take a whole look at, what's your company doing? Is Joe over there uploading a bunch of files that shouldn't be, or maybe they're confidential? You can go see what files, you can see who's accessed, who's invited. So if it's people outside of your company, you can see if they've come in. So if you leverage Studio as it should be, which you should be, then take a look at Bluebeam Studio Prime. It is a purchasable option. Price depends on how many people you have.
Yep. It's tied to the number of users. You can see what activity they're doing. It's a great management portal for Studio and how Studio is leveraged. So if you're ever looking into that, we can definitely show you. We can show you next week, since we're only a minute in, more in depth than what I showed you today. So feel free to bring your questions next time. Again, we have a topic, but we're open to any questions. We try not to stay on our topic because we hope people ask enough questions. But what we do want to say again, next time we announce that we're going to cover things about Review 21. Yeah, we like squirrels here. It will be about Review 21. So please tune in. We pumped the brakes on this and talking about it.
Mainly because I still think there's a chance they're going to call it Super Mega Ultra, and I'm going to have my people talk to Bluebeam. So with that said, thanks everybody for joining us. It was great to see so many new names and joining us. This has been recorded on YouTube, so all of our past year plus of Morning Coffee Review can be found on our YouTube playlist.
Yep.
So
So
we'll
if you
see
got
you
a
next Tuesday. All right. We'll see you, everybody.
YouTube. Yeah, if you go to
Oh.
YouTube, we'll extend us like a minute, right? Jason's next show. My internet was unstable.
Yeah.
No.
See, you froze. We kicked it off
Okay.
with me freezing. We're ending it with you freezing.
Yeah, I was just going to show atgusa.com right here again on YouTube. You go to the Morning Coffee Review. Look, we're live, and you can go and check it out. So there you go. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your week.